Hello everybody, my name is Sven Aerts. A quick introduction to our Erasmus Plus implementing the EU support policy for dancers, the management of dual career dancers and transition management for dancers. So what is the problem? Dancers and acrobats don't know that the EU sport policy is also for them. It's for everybody who needs their body in a top athletic shape for their job. So that means athletes from sports, of course, dance, acrobats, life rescue swimmers, firefighters, police and military. The EU policy on athleticism, that's how it actually should be called, but nobody understands that word. So it was reverted to the EU sport policy. But then, of course, that means that people from dance and from acrobats, that they it's not so obvious that that it is also for them. How did everything start? Well, in 2019 I'm a cognitive scientist. I'm in to things like artificial intelligence, brain hacking, accelerated memorization and learning. And for that reason I was invited in a consortium that wrote the EU policy on management of dual career athletes and transition management of athletes to the next phase of their life. And so I noticed that there was a misunderstanding of this word EU policy sport, but that it should be actually athletes and athleticism. But nobody understands that word, enfin soit. The word sport was used because everybody thought it was just for people who were running the 100 meters, throwing spears, discus, hammers, and whatever you can throw. So I started to reach out to the dance and the acrobats community via the EU Sport Info Day and the Connexium, and it's a Connexium app that is supporting most of these EU conferences are supported by these apps these days. I started writing emails to dance. The only thing that I actually knew was via my niece. She's a professional ballet dancer, so I knew that there were ballet schools, and we also have very good circus schools, and we have actually the Cirque du Soleil, who has a training center here in Wallonia. But I never got any reply until this year, 2023. Here you see how what such an EU Info Sport Day looks like. I met here, that's Patrick Perosa, and I also met George Raducan. So I just put in this Connexium app, it's on your smartphone, and then you can type, or on your screen on your laptop, and then you can type in, for example, dance, and then everybody who has the word dance in their profile comes out. But then, for example, people like Tiffaine Poulin, for example, she they only use dance to regain the public space, for example. So the only ones who are really interested in EU policy implementation for athletes, that were Patrick and then George here. I also have another colleague, Danai Varveri. She's from Greece. I'm quickly going to go to her website, Danai. Voila. So she's actually a professor in marine biology and also a world record holder in free diving. But she's also into dancing, her daughter as well. And so, if I understood well, in Greece the ballet federation, everything collapsed. So she set up a federation, the ballet federation, and so forth. Unfortunately, she couldn't make it to the EU Sport Info Day. The way I'm going to skip this one. So I made a little WhatsApp group. You can forward it to people in your federation or to other dance federations. They can scan the QR code here, or you just add them to the WhatsApp group. I propose that normally if I have to develop these Erasmus Plus projects. I just start brainstorming in a Google document here, Google Docs. You can organize your thoughts in words. If you want to express yourself more in images, then voila, you have Google Presentation. I also use Google Calendar to make meetings, and Google Google Meet for meetings, and so forth. So I propose that we use these kind of apps. The EU funds, the EU funds projects in every field. Transport, energy, climate change, research, you name it. And we are, as Europeans, always at the top, by the way. But it's always difficult for the European Commission they are frustrated that it's so difficult to get traction for all these projects in the market. They stay too much on the shelves. And so they came out with a project that's called the New European Bauhaus, the SHARE initiative from Miss von der Leyen. She's from Germany. She brings what she knows, of course, also from Germany. And this New European Bauhaus was that has something to do with urbanists, with architects who think through cycles, and then that you have the whole community with you. And they also use circus, acrobats, fanfares, and athletes also, because we have a lot of followers on our social media, and we can create traction in society, voila, and break stigmas. So if you go on the website you Google Europa Sport, then you will see that we have indeed a policy on that, and then you will see also this SHARE initiative. If you type New European Bauhaus SHARE initiative. And then the other problem is that here 10 October is the World Mental Health Day. The United Nations, they found the world GDP, so all the products and services that we as human beings can produce every year is $100 trillion, and $1 trillion is lost in productivity due to depression and anxiety. And also in EU we have an EU mental health policy, and in Europe it's not 1% but actually 4%, because we have better statistics. So I'm sorry, but it's an underestimation. And I'm also involved in that as a cognitive scientist. Enfin, SWAT 2022, the EU Health at a Glance report. They state there that research showed that almost 1 in 2 young Europeans report mental health needs. And again, we athletes, we have to help to break stigmas. By the way, I'm also a world record holder in circumnavigating the planet. What is the problem now? That athletes also suffer significantly more from mental health, and that is strange, because we think, athletes, they are role models, they have healthy lifestyles, setting goals, success, and the heroes that you are. But it's strange, no, you are suffering significantly more from mental health problems, 6% instead of the 4% EU average, and that 2% is significantly more. So we started to, as cognitive scientists, as psychiatrists, as people who are into this research, we think that it is actually because when you have thousands of cheering supporters in the stadiums or at your competitions, that's actually that acts like a natural drug shot. And when the competition is over, then you tend to fall into a black hole. And much like a drug addict, you're craving for your next dose, actually. Now, of course, society recognizes the value of you athletes, transferring values, healthy lifestyles, respect for rules, sportivity. So society, of course, doesn't want you to go through this alone, and that's why we have, since about 2008, an EU policy on dual career management of athletes, and also financing, of course, because when we are talking about European Commission and we say policy, it's always policy and there is financing. Also for helping you to transit to the next phase of your life, as not as an athlete anymore, when your body cannot deal with the extreme demands that you need. Voilà. So you don't have to go through that alone. But you, as dancers and acrobats, you are the last ones. You don't know that this money is there and that this support is there. So hence our Erasmus Plus. Yeah, what we are going to what they ask the commission is that to transfer the know-how. I think everybody should start reading the EU policy on dual career management and transition management. I hope that when you Google that and you put the name of your country next to it, that you will find some national specialists, probably people who are in top sport universities, for example. And then take some notes. So we will apply for money to give you, to buy us, you, time, and some colleagues time to read this during your working hours. And then take notes, and everything that you find interesting, then we transform that in a serious game and a stack of e-flashcards. This is how these serious games look like. It's a little bit like Monopoly, the fun of throwing with the dice, and when we then eventually are going to give workshops on everything that we learned, what works, what doesn't work. We are going to, instead of doing that via a conference, which is a little bit boring, we can also do that via a serious game. People throw a dice and then they have to pull a card, like Monopoly, these chance cards, and then on these chance cards, actually, you are explaining. It's like a quiz. You ask, what is this or that? Some numbers, some facts that you found striking, and that's how you transfer the basic knowledge, so that everybody who's participating. It's also an icebreaker game. People, here in groups of 6-7 people around the table, they get to know each other a little bit. There is also open cards, so people can also add some of the things that they find important and also want to participate to the rest of the group. That's serious game. Another thing, I think we should make all our knowledge in a theory book, a wiki book, an open book. And we are also going to use this technique of living labs. So that's, a laboratory, the people from exact sciences, the chemists, the engineers, they make a lot of noise, the chemists, a lot of stinky chemicals, the biochemists with their dangerous bacteria, and the doctors and so forth. You want their labs to be a little bit further away. But the people who are into human and social sciences, they want their lab where the people are, where the users are, where the private actors are, the financiers, the schools, knowledge institutes, where you have the public actors, the NGOs. The minister, for example, when he is faced with a problem, he has a contract with some universities, with sociology department, and he's going to ask these sociologists, can you please research why, for example, the kids are not eating, they're all becoming too fat, obesity, and we have to solve that because that's eating away my budget for health, for example. Okay, so then the sociologists, they set up a living lab where they can meet children. A school can be a living lab. Our dance clubs, our clubs can be seen as a living lab, because there is kids who learn to dance. We also have a bar. We organize parties, and then there is also adults coming to learn to dance. And these adults, these parents, they work in finance. There are politicians also there who learn to dance. There are all kind of professions, and we can invite them to be part of this living lab on policy management of dual career dancers and transition management for dancers, because you will see that the European Commission has also been giving money to all these different other um, um, groups in society. You have the DG of small and medium enterprises, the DG of industry, the DG of environment, climate, and so forth. And they also have learned to use, and they have to use this living labs technique. So if all of a sudden we start typing in living labs and then your country, Slovenia, living labs Romania, you will see that there are some universities, some companies, some NGOs, you name it, schools, universities, who are also using this technique of living labs, and they will be very surprised, but very happily surprised that all of a sudden there is also people from the dance community to also know this technique, and that they either we participate in their living labs, or we organize a living lab during the day when nobody is taking dance courses in our own dance schools or dance federations, for example. Yeah, and then also about e-flashcards, but we'll talk about that later. Voilà, we'll make a kind of a manual, voilà, here, but in the form of an open wiki book here, so that next generations, or when we continue after this Erasmus Plus project, that we can add new chapters or improve the things and so forth. Yeah, here, voilà. That is so. This is what I did. What I made, for example, I made an app in which you can have e-flashcards with yeah, on the front a question, the backside the answer, and then you have to guess what is the right answer. But I have an algorithm in it that can predict when your brain is going to forget something. So not only the advantage is that you can learn from the palm of your, from your smartphone. You have it everywhere with you. So if ever you have all the knowledge also with you in the palm of your hand. But it also can predict when your brain is going to forget something. And so every day you get some pop-ups. And then when you do your flashcards again, it gives a very strong signal to your brain to store that in a longer term memory. And here Moodle, that is an open source, probably you know this from your kids, these apps that you and the teachers and the school use to communicate with you. So one of these apps is Moodle. Maybe even your children and your school uses Moodle. That's where we can make massive open online courses, and then people can follow our course online. We'll make little videos also where we explain the ABC of everything that we found out, and if they finished the course, they can get a badge, an electronic badge that they can enter into their in their Europass CV. Here, Europass CV. That's a standard format for curriculum vitae, and here also into their Youth Pass. That's a certification for non-formal education that is recognized all over Europe, and we use here this open badge platform. Yeah, and then the challenge for us in the next coming years will be that in Europe we are living in 240 regions, including, don't forget that we also have European overseas countries and territories in the Caribbean, in Polynesia, and we have about 800 cities with a population of more than 50,000 people. And then of course also the rural areas in Europe. And in all these 240 regions, in all these 800 cities, of course there are dance clubs. And all these dance clubs, they have to know about the EU policy on dual career management for dancers. And that is what we have to achieve in, well, not be able to achieve that in 2 years, but in, yeah, normally there are groups who have managed to do that actually in 3 years if, yeah, the dance federation, enfin, the federations are well organized. Then there are groups who have managed to do that in less than in 3 years. That somebody in every region of Europe is selling our course then actually, and yeah. So when people then, okay, so the course will be for free, but if they want to have a certificate, then you will get a notification, and one of us will get a notification because we have studied this. We are empowered by Erasmus Plus to give out and to certify certificates. And then they will have to pay us, for example, 10 euros, 20 euros, 50 euros, whatever is customary in your regions to get a certificate. And that is also going to give a steady stream of revenues for each one of us and our respective organizations. And then, of course, we will also use the European Sport Week to market our everything that we found. Our EU policy for dancers, dual career management for dancers. That's every year, the last week of September. There is also the World Day of Sports for Peace and Development. That's the 7th of April, if I remember well. We'll also have to the money that we can apply for in Erasmus Plus small partnerships is 120,000 euros. We can also apply for some marketing material like these flags and roll-up banners. If we have to go and give a workshop on it, or if we are invited to give, if you see somewhere an opportunity to put a stand, for example, here, this is the people from, that is EU Sport. They are using dance, for example. This is, what is that again? That is acro dance, that they throw each other in the air and everything. And here also maybe a stand like this, for example. We'll have to see if we can get it with 120,000 small partnership. The large partnerships, there we can go and ask up to 425,000 euros, and then badges, clips, and so forth. Here, T-shirts. Voila. Here you find some other links. Voila, and that is a little bit everything that I wanted to cover. This is Danai. This is voila. This is our Google document. Voila. Please make it yours. It's a Word document. I put in here all the moments in the week that I'm that I will block to work on this project. Voila, yeah, here read I had a draft project idea note, read the EU policy, then this living lab technique, transfer the know-how via serious game, via massive online open courses. Now we have to market the program, of course, then we need this blah blah blah. And then here I explained voila, yeah, that we met via Connexium and so forth. Who is who here? Maybe you can complete what is your PIC code and so forth. I will also need your PIF, project information form of every organization. And then we also have to decide through which of our organizations we are going to enter the project. The most logical would be to do it via one of your dance federations. Patrick is from idodance.com. That is, voila, copy up, tick, tack. That is the international dance, what is this? Dance organization, voila. I understand, voila, here you already see that I know that they have already received some EU financing via an Erasmus Plus project in which they were part. So they probably know how to enter. I'm sure that you know how there is people in your federation who know how to enter these projects. So maybe you can also please also forward this little video to them, link them up in our WhatsApp group. So that we can discuss this. This is our WhatsApp, voila, here, okay. I'll start sending messages here as well. I hope you will respond. Well, this is my Google photo album on the EU Sport Info Day of a couple of weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. Voila, and here you see me with Patrick. Don't have a picture with George. Voila, we can close that as well. And then I think I have, yeah, this is this Connexium app. Voila, you can, yeah, and here dance, and then I have these people, for example. But then you have, for example, Tiffaine Poulain. For example, here, Tiffaine, she's actually on everything that is women who have been confronted with sexual assault, and their support women in their conquest of public space, and then here through breakdance. That reminds me also that breakdance is in next year in Paris in the Olympic Games. It's also a sport. It's considered a sport. And I'm also generating with a team in Africa, and I can quickly show this actually. I'm generating CO2 certificates here. That is, and then I have to go to seabed. Voila. So I make these. You know that the Olympic Games, they have to be carbon neutral, and so to offset the flights to the games, they have to buy CO2 certificates. For example, for seabed restoration projects. I do that in Croatia. So we, for every ton of CO2 that the seagrass and the seabed restoration captures in the sand and in the seagrass, we are allowed to generate one CO2 certificate, and that's what they buy for the aquatic sports. And the land sports, they do volley. Voila, that's our team in Burundi. They plant trees around the volleyball fields, their sport fields, so that the supporters can watch the games in the shade. And so for every ton of CO2 that the trees capture, we're allowed to generate one CO2 certificate, and we deliver that in the form of a coin. So this one is in a wooden coin or a bio plastic coin from starch. And here in the ones from algae, we make them from bioplastic from algae. It's a transparent coin. So that's a little bit, and so we can also make a coin for the dance community, for example, to offset all your flights. I think that way I have covered everything. Thank you for your attention, and I hope that we will quickly connect and see each other. Come on here, and that we can upload, can finalize everything and upload it, and that we will win our Erasmus Plus idea. Thank you. Bye bye.